Good day, Commanders. Omni here, Soldier First Class, reporting for duty. Hope everybody liked the intro. I worked on it, man. I feel pretty good about myself. I think there's a couple of more editing things that I can do to really get it nailed, but I'm getting there, right? Hopefully. So, the topic of the day is, should you pick a main faction? And I already know the answer. Honestly, everybody's going to be like, you don't need a main faction, you need them all. But that's well territory. How often are you going to do that, right? To go and just blow everything, get everybody in any game. It's kind of unrealistic. So if you're free to play or low spenders, you should probably have some type of plan, right? Because not everybody plays the game for the same reason. Not everybody wants to be overpowered, get on top. Some people play games just for designs, just to have fun or just to collect. Let's pick a main. However, for anyone who is free to play, new to the game, or just started in let's say you've been playing for 4 months, 4 to 6 months, and you're still playing, just go through the campaign, follow the story mode, go through the vocal quest and then the Odyssey, and you're level up eventually. Just grind your gear, do your dailies, and summon on the ×2 events that come up, like the crazy invocation of spirits and the crazy divine summonings, because they have higher chances of giving you a Lego. So at the beginning, you're just filling out your roster. You're trying to get some strong heroes, some strong legendaries to help you progress through the story, through the campaign, through the gear raids, and you're just going to get whoever you get. But by doing that, you might find your main faction that you truly enjoy, playing, or that you enjoy experimenting with. So category-wise, there's do you want power, right? Do you want to build the best GVG team? Do you want to destroy everything that gets in your path? Or do you like the design of certain faction members more than others? Or do you like just to have fun, or the uniqueness, like the Cultists? They're very unique. Not too many heroes can do what they do, but they're not overpowered. They're not the best heroes to grab, but some people love them. But yeah. So anyways, if you're new to the game, you haven't been playing for more than 6 months, don't worry about this yet. Just keep playing, and then you might just end up getting a great lord or a great hero just off your regular pulls. And then you can start planning ahead, or saving, and looking at leaks and what's coming up in the next 2-3 months. And then, have your savings ready for that. Because as a low spender or a free to play player, it's going to be rough trying to get some of these lords. People have been playing for years and haven't pulled them. So just be prepared to wait a long time. But if you're a whale and you're going out here and throwing out money there's no tomorrow, then go ahead, get everybody. You don't even need to watch this video. You're grabbing whoever you want anyway, right? So I'm a low spender, free to play. I try to stay in the range of, X amount, but I don't go too crazy. And this has been working for me. I'm able to clear most of the content. I think just the gear dungeons, 8 through 10 that I have to work on, but all my gear raids are done. I don't have a bonded Silas. And I started thinking this a while ago, dang, I'm going to just pick a main faction. I'm going to kind of stick with it. And then I'm going to start planning around this lord that I have, or lords that I have. So for me, Ingrid is the lord that I wanted. I saw it through a leak. At first, honestly, I was trying to go for Ivar. So I would have ended up with a Pericers faction if I got him. But Ingrid's so great. She's amazing. So I was like, well, I didn't get Ivar on his first banner or his second banner. So Ingrid, you're the one. And then Kagiri came out. Man, I loved his design, his artwork. And I was like, this is it. I'm going to just stick with Watchguard and see what happens. And then we got the leak. We got the leak of Sun Wukong, right? Granted, Kagiri and Sun Wukong will be in Nightmare factions if the leak's true. And it stays that way and they don't change them too much. However, Watchguard. They're going to make Watchguard go so hard. And Lucius and Constance is in there. So it's a great team for me because it covers most all my bases. I want to do good in GVG. I want to excel in most of the codexes. I want to go through all the gear dungeons. It is a more general purpose team for me, and I love plug and play characters to where they can just kind of do everything. Their overall general purpose, good to use. All right. Without further ado, let's hop into the gallery real quick, and we'll go over each faction, or my impressions, my takes on them, and we'll see if choosing a main is right for you. So, let's start at the beginning. Watchguard. Here we go. Also, here's something else that I was thinking about, right? I'm kind of like the conspiracy knucklehead or like tinfoil hat. I'll try to think like far ahead and like make predictions. But Watchguard's up here first, right? Watchguard is the protectors of the realm, or they give hope to people. So they're like an inspirational thing. And I think they're just going to keep making this faction strong. Ingrid blew it out of the water. Kagiri helped it so much, right? It's crazy. So for me, I think I'm in a good spot. If you pick Watchguard, it's gonna be an amazing faction. So let's talk about the tanks. Regulus, he's probably like one of the only viable tanks of this faction. So you can use him in GVG, you can use him everywhere else. He's gonna be great in content, like carrying you through like normal progression through the campaign. I'll mostly talk about like GVG focused stuff, like for late game, in game players. But he's okay. He's a good tank. If you don't have a better tank and you pulled Regulus, you kind of lucked out. He's great, and I would use him if I had him, but I just don't have him. So I'm also not going to talk about every unit on here. I'm just going to talk about like the main ones that I would focus on and I would target if you want this faction. So Lucius, great. I have him A5. He does great work in APOC 2, APOC 1. You can use him anywhere almost. But here's the issue. GVG, his ultimate is annoying. You can't control it. If he starts cleansing, or what is it? Shooting assaults, whatever. But if you can just have him enter his demonic stance and like that was it, he'd be great. Constance, another good tank. But you're going to use her mostly for your healing. So you can try to use her as a tank, but I just prefer to set her behind the tank. She's my ground-based healer. So if you have Constance, shoot for Constance. Well, not if you don't have her. But if you don't have Constance and you want a Watchguard faction, shoot for Constance. Alistair. I missed Alistair. His fusion. But he is going to be a pillar of any Arbiter, and he could also do it in Watchguard faction. So he would help Ingrid out a lot, but not necessarily as important in a Watchguard faction. He's going to really shine mostly in Arbiters. Kagiri. My boy, I love this dude's design. That's why I was so happy that I was like, God, he's a Watchguard, right? So, hey, at least a Watcher. Nightmare, they're really good everywhere, but I like using them in my Watcher team just because I have most of them. A3 is what you want. A5 is ridiculous. Also, he has great awakenings, and he'll carry you hard. But one time range, boss killer, right? So he won't get too much play in GVG. You could make him work, but it's going to be more complicated, more of a hassle than what it's worth. Laya, honorable mention, she's good. I don't have her, not much to say, but if you do have if you want a Watchguard team and you want an actual healer that's a ranged platformer, then try to go for Laya also. My honorable mentions, they do have some cost regenerators, so that's why I showed them up on the screen. So those are the ones that I would go for if I was in Watchguard, or if I chose that as my main faction, and that's what you want to choose. North Throne is next. The North Throne, very strong defenders, probably the best defenders in the game, but not too much DPS. There's a few of them that can do it, and I'll point them out, but it's hard to make this team work in GVG setting or late game. However, they are the best defenders. If you want to build more of a offense GVG focus, Elder is the one to go for. If you did happen to pull Horrors, you can go for like more of a stall tactic in GVG and just kind of block out the enemies when they come in, since he's a more, defensive unit. Jira, if you pull Jira, good luck. She's great, super strong, amazing, Counter-Strike, massive damage, probably one of the highest attacks in the game, I believe. Valkyria, Gear Dungeon, Stage 1. I need this lady. I have not been able to make it work. I've been trying, but she's great. She'll benefit from Elder, given the shields, and also from Hars, but Elder's more of a offensive team. Glacius, just for crowd control, but I believe Mari can do it better anyways. So, is it worth going for? Can Corridor? He's there, but he's not the best tank. No unyielding, so he can be taken out pretty easy, at least in GVG. Maul also great for crowd control. Edith, honorable mention from the epics, but amazing damage dealer right here. Ardea, crazy girl, man. She's the one you want also. And obviously the best ones come from Ancients. Brokir, best tank, and Jira, one of the strongest fighters. Awesome. So those are the ones that I would focus on if you're going to build a North Throne team, or if that's your main. Now let's move on to the Nightmare Council. Now Nightmare, they go hard. They're overall probably like one of the best factions. Arrogance, you got. Let's start with Torador. So we got Torador. He's a lord here. He's the only lord that's a legendary. And there's some hints down the pipeline, or at least some speculation that there might be a new one coming out. Don't hold your breath. I don't know when it is, and nobody else does either, from what I can tell. So if you lucked out and got Torador early, like from the regular summon pool, then you can definitely build a great team around the Nightmare Council. He's one of the few amazing lords that does a lot for his faction that you don't have to pull on Ancients to get. So you could get lucky. Salazar, he's great, mostly in arena, single target damage. If he comes up, well, he's going to be free fusion now. So just wait out and you can get Salazar for free. You don't really have to pull. Hasset, my girl. I do not have a Hasset. I wish I did. Then I would actually start thinking about getting Torador. One of the reasons why I don't have Torador yet from like the free Lego pick is because I don't really plan to run a Nightmare Council team. Not like full hardcore, but maybe like a sub main or something like that. Arrogance, massive damage. He is one of the pillars of a Nightmare Council team. So Lust pairs very well with Arrogance, obviously, because they have a bond skill together, right? Guaranteed Legos, always get your guarantees. She has 2 banners already. So if she comes back around and you have an Arrogance, she is the person to go for. I mean, come on. Just look at that body. All right. Next on the list that I would definitely try to get is Twyla. She can go hard in Guild Boss 2. Apox. You know what I mean? Take them down. Them and Kagiri, her and Kagiri together, they would destroy Apoc. 1 and 2, it doesn't matter. But I think they did miss an opportunity with her. They could have made her like dual faction into the Piercer faction, and then just extended her range, and that would have been great because she has a bond skill with who else? Hex. Greed, honorable mention. If you have him, he is a pillar of GVG teams. If you're running Nightmare Council, and Gluttony, he's niche, but he's very useful in some content. So if you like the Nightmare faction, and that's for you, this is who I would go for, in my opinion. Torador, Hotset, Arrogance, definitely. Then we have, where's Lust? My girl, Lust, my boy, Gary, and Twyla. At least from the Legos. Epics you'll get very easy. Let's see. Now we have Cursed Cult faction. So the Cultists, like I was talking about uniqueness, they're very unique. Like, there's just some of them that can do some crazy stuff. And you can go through, you can look through their skills and stuff. Like I was saying, like I'll just go through each faction, and like these are the ones that I would target over time while playing the game. So they have 2 lords that are both Legos, but you can get the epic lords, and they're both great too. We have Demi. I don't know too much about their kits. I don't have them, and I haven't tested them, so I don't want to give you any misinformation. But if you happen to pull either one of these lords, Demi or Morgan, then you can start building a Cultist team. But they're going to be very limited in some aspects, but not all of them. Like you could like excel in arena, possibly like AoE arena, or you can sell like in a Codex. But you're probably not going to excel in GVG just on a Cultist team. It had to be like a hybrid team or something. However, if I was going to go for a Cultist team, I would definitely pick up Venerna and Uridin for BP affiliation, and he's one of the few fighters that are in a cultist team, so it's good to pick him up if you're maining him. Xeris, AoE Arena, what I'm talking about. But I would definitely pick him up as like a pillar of the new cultist teams that are going to be coming around, and Honora. She is amazing. Get your limited. Always get your limited. Now the cultists, they excel in AoE damage. That's why I was saying like you can use them in AoE Arena, and they do more damage when the enemy has like status effects on them. Captain Reed, he's a limited also. Grab him if you're running a cultist, have like your main. 9 times out of 10, it won't just be a cultist. It's gonna be like a hybrid team, as I was saying. Carnelian, she'll be great, but not really in a cultist team. She's like more if you're doing a chaotic team also. Same with Kata, right? And then just BB affiliation for Uridin. Magda though, could be very strong in a cultist team. That penetration that she provides for everybody is great. Artemis, anti-heal, great, very utilized just for his utility that he provides, and he can do some good damage. Honorable mentions, Greed and Hollow, Rage Regen. Cultists also have like a few Rage Regen not healers, but Rage Regen suppliers. Now, Infernos. Inferno is like one of my sub-factions that I have. I lucked out, got Twin Fiend, got Hex, got Zilla2, and I was like, man, I'm just doing an Inferno team. But definitely go for Soul Cadence. He's the better of the two lords, in my opinion. And then Twin Fiend, he's the other lord. So if you happen to pull one of these guys, you could build an Inferno team. And as of right now, Pyros, he's also pretty good. He can do great in Guild Balls. But the Infernos, they might be on a come up, right? We getting Lord Phineas. We also have Lyra. And she seems really crazy. So, I don't know. Infernals might be on their way back up. We have a couple of new heroes coming out for them. But definitely pick up Zilla2, Nocturne, if you're going to run an Infernal team. Cetrum, he's a stable. He's been around forever, but he always does great stuff in Guild Balls, right? And on shields. Pharisee, definitely required for APOC. And she's just one of the better healers, at least for the Infernal faction. Hex, everybody loves Hex. Madman Hex. He does great damage, but you would definitely want to pick him up for an Infernal team. Same with Lord Phineas now. And then Lyra, I think she's going to be an amazing addition to the Infernal faction when she does come out. So when she's released, pick her up. Dolores, obviously, another honorable mention. Autumn, she's underrated. She does provide some crit damage, and I've used her a bit in Guild Balls and did pretty well, for my damage and stuff. So that's pretty much it for the Infernal faction. Out of the heroes that I would be definitely trying to target, like I was saying, any of the two lords, Nocturne, Zilla2, Cetrum, Hex, Pharisee, Lord Phineas. So, Pericers. Man, if I would have had Iovar, I would have had a Pericer. This would have been my main, Pericers, for sure. I just love his design, and he's so cool. He's so strong, too. So he's the better lord out of the two, obviously, out of Aracha. Definitely try to go for Iovar, but it's just hard getting them ancients, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, is it better just to build, a main faction, like once you do get your ancient? So Eliza, she's cool. One of the new epics. She has invisibility. Nyx, definitely very, very good in GVG and AoE damage. So get rate 3. She hard carry you on that left side. Silas, if you have him bonded, he's almost a god. But I don't have him bonded. He was definitely somebody that you would want to target and pick up, save up for him, and you definitely want him if you're running Iovar as like your lord, or even Aracha if you're running a Piercer team. Sargot, great, very niche, or like hard to use. He's not beginner friendly. Hex, if you can pick him up, his awakenings are great, and if you can get his exclusive, he will go hard. He will do so much damage. Pelagios, amazing. Better in an Arbiter faction, but can work in a Piercer faction. Same thing with Lady Alexandra. If you can get her, good luck. You're already an arena god anyway. Razak, he's okay. If you happen to pull him, he's not bad. Same thing with Allura, right? Gear 8-3, and in some other content they can help. Lily, she's one of the meta healers right now, especially for GVG, Lily and Carnelian, just because she provides that extra life, and some tanks just don't have unyielding, so she at least helps cover some bases. Also, oh yeah, another rare that's overlooked, especially now because there's just so many more people. Liam, yeah, he's pretty cool. But Iovar, Hex, Silas would be the next one that I would pick. These are like the people that I would definitely target if I'm running a Pierce team. Lady Alexandra, if you can get her. Nyx, Sargot. I wouldn't chase Sargot though, right? Just like if you happen to get them, go ahead, build them up and use them. All right. Esoteria. Esoteria. They are really good. They have some amazing heroes. Cyrus, if I had him, probably one of. I would definitely want it. I definitely want him. I definitely would use him. He's one of the best tanks in the game. He just so hard to kill, right? In GVG. But if you have him, definitely use Cyrus. He's gonna be your go-to lord for the Esoteria faction. Now, Elwyn. Elwyn. The best healer in the game. Almost necessary for every player to have Elwyn. If you did not choose Elwyn for your free Lego and you don't have her, well, good luck, guys. You definitely need her. Comet, amazing. If you get his A3, yeah, it has increased range on his ultimate, so he goes up another tier once he gets his A3, especially like in arena, AoE arena, because he can reach like those top spots. Kata, very niche. You would have to go find some videos and stuff on him, but he's usable. I heard some really good things about him, but he's very niche, right? Boreas, almost god tier, even after the nerf. He's definitely someone you're going to want to grab. Nor, like I already said, very strong, guaranteed hero also. Thylin, actually. If you get him, use him. In it. Almost clicked on it. Lily and I. And then also, who is it? Laurel. Yep. Those are the 3 epics that are very essential for this comp too in the Esoteria faction. So let's go through. Cyrus. He's definitely somebody you want to pick up. These are the people I'm picking up if I'm running an Esoteria's faction as my main. Comet. Definitely going to try to target Comet. Boreas. You definitely want Boreas in this comp, especially with Cyrus, and he can also just be good like with other like stall comps just for CC effects. Nora, you definitely want to pick her up. Lily, like I was saying, meta and GVG, great healer. She's one of the best healers in the game. Also, she doesn't have that cleanse, and Elowin's just a better burst healer. Moving on to Chaos Dominion. Now we're starting to get into more pay to win territory. This is where all the whales are going to be at, right? Gone. If you get Gone, great tank. Only from Ancients, though, right? So, if you do have Gone or Valderon, either one is a very respectable lord. So, just be happy with either one of them. If you pull them, don't get mad that you didn't get your Paredes. Celebrate. You got Valderon or Gone. So, he's a defender. He increases his block by 3. He's so hard to get past in GVG. Valderon, he just eliminates people in GVG and in any other content. He's a monster. His attacks through the roof. And he's just like, damn, get out my way. So, Valderon or Gone, both are amazing lords. And look at this. This is how you know it's pay to win territory, is when the heroes in that faction are basically all Legos and hard to get, right? Alright, so Valeria, very strong fighter, low cost, so good in arena. Uridan, BP affiliation. Ardea, if you get Ardea, my girl, man, she's gonna go hard in this team. Everybody knows how strong she is. Carnelian, obviously we already talked about her. She's a pillar in this team as well. And Sargat, he can really shine in this team, especially like with Valderon and the Lord skill. Kata, this is the team that he's gonna probably be running hard in, or Esoteria's team. But you'd have to get him to find out. Cerberus, he's also really good, but mostly just in Codex. Aatrox, usable, has an epic, and probably the best epic that comes in here. Because there's only, 4? Yeah. So, who would I get? Gone. Valderon. These are the people that I would focus on if I'm going to run this Chaos faction as my main. Ardea. Carnelian. Definitely grab those, and then you would try to target Sargot and Kata. I would probably do those last. The other 3 would definitely be first on my list. Now, who's next? Look at this. They finally added an epic. The first epic finally added to the Supreme Arbiters, and everything else is gold. Pay to win, baby. Gotta love it. Anyway, if you're going for here, you're well for this Hedger main. All right. So first off, obviously, the best lord for the Arbiters is Praetus. True damage, crazy. Alicia. I'm just gonna mention it because she's the only other epic here, but both of these are lords for the Arbiter teams. Valkyria, very important. Magic damage, fighter, but she can also revive people. Long range. Pelagios, very great in an Arbiter team. True damage. They all do true damage. Jira, super strong. Who is this? Anomia. She's probably like the least important, one of the more least important. Lady Alexandria, hit all across the board. Crazy damage. Constance, inspiration, healer. Fallon does stuns. He's also probably the one more least important ones. Alistair. God, I went on Alistair. He makes this whole comp just make everybody else does crazy damage. And then Ingrid, my girl, obviously. So I'll go through and I'll list who I would target in a Supreme Arbiter team. I'm only laughing because obviously it's going to be Praetus. If you grab Alicia, grab her, then, you know, you'll probably grab her from your ancients. But yeah, like I was laughing because it's probably going to be everybody, right? So, yeah, just Pelagios, Valkyria, Jira, Lady Alexandria. This is pay to win territory. Constance. This is what you're going to be trying to target and save up for in that order. Alistair and Ingrid. Those everybody else that I didn't like list at the end, then I wouldn't mind skipping. Ajax, these are the unnamables. They can go into any faction. They're not a lord, but they can use anyone's lord skills. So Ajax, obviously, he's going to be great in GVG. So is Umerit. So I can keep talking at the end and kind of wrap up my thoughts. So, picking a main is not necessarily locking yourself into one faction. It's kind of setting your priorities. So how I look at it is, if I'm going to pick up a main, this is who I'm going to focus on, and I'll probably make a list of those units, those heroes that are important to that faction. And then when they come up, you weigh your risk and reward, right? So your first main could be a Northern main because you picked up Elder, kind of like I did. And as you play and progress through the game, you'll get more resources, more ancient summoning crystals or legendary summoning crystals or just rare ones, and you'll pick up another legendary lord eventually. And then you can start determining, okay, my first main was Elder. That's a Northern team. They're not the best team. I don't really like them that much. I'm just using them. Then you move into the side. At least I have a Lord now. So they're my back burner now at this point. And that's my sub main. So now I got a new Lord. In my case, Twin Fiend. So I started maining Infernals. So when the Infernal banners would come around, like Zillatu or Hex, I would try to target them because I have a Lord to go with it. And that just makes your team building and building your comp so much easier. Because in the highest level of GVGs and in the highest escalons of most of the content to get the top scores, you're looking at using the same faction. Honestly, look at the top players in GVG. Go look at their teams. It's going to be mostly one faction, then like maybe an off-brand healer or an off-brand tank or somebody else that provides some kind of coverage or CC or crowd control effects. So think about it. Should you start planning? Should you start prioritizing which faction members that you want to get based off what lords that you have? And if you don't have anything planned out yet, or you're just playing the game, you can kind of figure it out, do some research, watch some videos, go check out all the other content creators, and even like the leaker boys, right? Go check them out. And then you can kind of plan ahead in the future, as long as you progress through the game a little bit on your own. So that's all I got for you guys. Should you pick a main? My mains are Watchguard faction. That is my top priority right now. And after that, I have two sub-mains. That would be the Infernal faction and the Northern faction. So you guys, let me know your mains. And like, comment, subscribe. Omni out. Peace.